Hey guys, it's Brad from Are We There Yet? Just logging on today to give you guys an update on my truck and also a status update on the new Bronco I ordered. So we'll start off with the truck. I wish I had better news. Unfortunately, I don't. I dropped the truck off again at the dealership yesterday. Having a bunch of electrical problems with my 21 F150 Powerboost. The day before yesterday, I drove about 450 miles. And in that period of time, I had 4 times where the truck, I had the cruise control set at about 65 miles an hour on the freeway. And the truck all of a sudden went from 65 to 25, braked by itself in the middle of the freeway with vehicles behind me. And one time I almost got rear-ended by a log truck. So would have been a bad outcome for everybody. No accidents actually happened, thank God. The other 2 times it happened were on more rural 2-lane roads up on the way up in the mountains. Was going up to do some four-wheeling and go up and get in the snow a little bit here in Washington State. The weather's been obviously cooling off a little bit. Things are changing. So I was trying to take that opportunity to get out in the truck and see what it could do in the snow. I was happy with it in the snow. But basically turned off all the babysitting features with the exception of the rear locker and the four-wheel drive system. But to go back to the cruise control situation, 3 times in about a 400-mile day, I had this cruise control literally just go from the setting it was on to 25, 30 miles an hour, brakes hard automatically, which is completely scary and a major safety concern for not only me but people around me and Ford in general. So new things are starting to pop up, and what I'm finding and what I told the dealership yesterday was that it seems to me that the chips that my truck was waiting for, it sat in a parking lot for 6 months, and the chips that the truck was waiting for seemed to either not be working correctly or there was moisture that got in those ports because those ports sat there open for 6 months before the chips got plugged in. So I'm assuming that moisture got in there, dust, whatever. But the more you ask of the truck, it seems like the more electrical issues we're having. Twice in that same drive, day before yesterday, the four-wheel drive selector would change from 2 high to 4 auto by itself without me touching the button. And then one of my biggest complaints that I touched on in the first video was the navigation screen. I do have an Android device, but it doesn't matter which phone device you have. But the navigation screen would switch from the Ford navigation screen to Android Auto, and it would like flip-flop back and forth on the 12-inch display with no input from me on the steering wheel or on the screen itself. I would just be driving along and all of a sudden the screens would flip-flop. And when it would go to Android Auto, if I picked up, and the map was on, if I picked up my phone and moved my phone on an axis, the map would change direction on the screen of the truck. And so I could literally like point the phone at myself and all of a sudden it would make it look like I was going upside down. Like the map would change orientation and look like I was going all of a sudden 180 degrees different direction. And then it would all of a sudden flip back to the Ford Sync 4 navigation screen, which is incredibly frustrating. And then lastly, on the main display in the truck, where the tach and the speedo are, it'll show like my fuel mileage or whatever screen I have pulled up in the middle, and all of a sudden it will pop up and be like, you have a turn coming up. But the problem is that will happen 10 or 15 times over the course of a mile, and my next turn isn't for 70 miles. So the screen's constantly flipping up and changing, and it's literally gotten to the point where it's about every 10 to 15 seconds. So the truck's back at Ford, the local dealership that I bought it from as of yesterday. They did give me a decent loaner truck this time. I got a 2019 F150 with a 3.5. So not super disappointed with this loaner truck. However, this is my truck's 5th time, and today is literally the 2-month anniversary. I picked it up September 10th. So it's been at the dealership 6 times for these same problems in 2 months. And of the 60 days roughly I've had the truck, it's spent close to 20 days at the dealership, and they haven't solved anything yet. Again, real quickly to run down the list of issues, I've got a couple new ones too, but automatic headlights aren't working. They don't go to high beam, like even up in the woods when there's absolutely no light from any other vehicles or mailboxes, reflections, or any of that kind of stuff. The truck will not, unless you manually do it, go from low beam to high beam. And the mirrors, when you fold them in and fold them back out, the driver's side mirrors hanging up, that's not a big deal. It's probably just something needs to be lubricated. The navigation system, the cruise control system, I took it into the Ford dealership a couple days ago and had the oil changed, as I'm a little over 5,000 miles. And the quick lane oil change guy, I was telling them the story about some of the problems I've been having. And he's like, well, let's pull up your Ford Pass app on our side. So he pulls it up on the computer. And every day for the past 60 plus days, I get 4 or 5 error messages that are popping up on their on their access to Ford Pass. But on my Ford Pass on my phone, I get no notifications of anything. But it's PCM, air control, communication issues, wire. There's 1 or 2 error messages that keep popping up that have to do with the wire harness default or fault detected, Ethernet communication issues. Basically everything that you could possibly have go wrong electronically with this truck is going wrong. And Ford so far, in communication with a technician the last time, and actually a Ford engineer, said that there's nothing wrong with the truck. They plug in their laptop, and they literally, I got 20 pages of documentation from the dealership the last time, and they said my fuel mileage issue is because I'm driving too heavy-footed, and because I lifted the truck and put aftermarket wheels and tires on it. And again, like I mentioned before, I went from the Ford factory wheels with 32 and a half inch tires, because I got a Lariat Sport, and I actually measured and also weighed the wheels and tires that I replaced those with, and my wheels and tires are 6 pounds per corner lighter, and my tires are only 0.55 inches taller. So for them to claim that I've lost 10 miles per gallon because of a half an inch in height on the tire, when the tires and wheel combination I picked was 6 pounds per corner lighter, is absolutely absurd. Like, I don't understand who they think they're talking to, but it's ridiculous. And I did do a leveling kit, but that truck, I know people that are getting 24 to 26, 27 miles per gallon at 70, 75 miles an hour on the freeway. Yesterday I drove on the freeway quite a bit and recorded it, which I'll try and tie into this video later. 70 miles an hour on the freeway, I'm getting 12 to 13, 14 miles per gallon. Even, going downhill sometimes, I'm still no better than 16, 17. So something's definitely not correct. The hybrid system is not working correctly. Sometimes the engine kicks off when it should, sometimes it won't. Yesterday going down the pass, coming back off the mountain, I went for 4.5 miles downhill, and the truck felt like it was braking itself, and I'm assuming because of the regenerative braking, but the engine never cut off. So I ran with the gas engine on the entire time. The engine was warm. I've been driving it for 2 hours at that point. So I gave a list yesterday to the dealership, and they said that they're going to have their head technician deal with it over the next 2 weeks. And apparently Ford is in communication now. But what I find interesting, and what I wanted to kind of let you guys know and give a follow-up video on, is that I'm not a technician, right? I'm the average everyday guy, but I've been a Ford guy my entire life. It's all I've ever owned other than motorcycles. Actually, that's not true. And one Honda Prelude in the early 1990s. Love Fords my whole life, but I will say where I'm disappointed in this situation is that Ford isn't taking it seriously. I mean, obviously we've got electrical issues. The oil change guys pulled up on their computer and could show, they printed off 26 pages of error codes. A lot of them were the same ones, but a lot of them were new, stuff that I hadn't seen before. So what I find bizarre is that the dealership had my truck for about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And their technician gave me a packet of, use premium fuel, be lighter on the throttle, you'll get better gas mileage if you, go back to the original, the stock wheels and tires. And I'm like, oh my, for the love of Jesus, like, I don't know what's happening here. So, What I'm trying to do with my channel is give everybody, all my viewers, and hopefully the manufacturers, if I ever get paid up to the point where they're paying attention, some feedback. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not a technician, but there's no way in God's green earth that truck should be getting 14.6 miles per gallon over the last 5,000 miles because of a leveling kit and tires that are literally a half an inch taller than what was stock, especially when those are lighter. I literally, for the last couple of days, have been in eco mode. I was trying to use the cruise control a lot to let the truck and the computer, use the most fuel efficient combination of brake and throttle and all that kind of stuff. And then that's when I started noticing the cruise control system, going from whatever the speed limit was down to 25 on the freeway for no apparent reason. So definitely some major safety concerns. I am a little bit frustrated, mostly with the fact that Ford doesn't seem to take it seriously. I mean, over the last couple of days, there's been 3 times now where the truck's literally gone from freeway speeds to 30, 40, 25 miles an hour without any input from me on the freeway in traffic with log trucks and other vehicles around me. That's something that can't happen, and I hope that somebody at Ford takes this seriously. So enough about my truck. Sorry, I'm rambling on for a second, but I did want to say on a good note that I did order a 2022 Ford Bronco. So I haven't given up on Ford yet, but I did order a 22 Ford Bronco, and I am a member of the Bronco Nation officially as of a couple days ago. As you can see, I got some swag. But I wanted to give you guys that are having trouble getting your orders placed and receiving your Bronco, give you some hope. Over the last several months, a lot of people that I watch on YouTube have been kind of advising people to go with lower trim, big bends, and base models and that kind of stuff, and then retrofitting after the fact. I decided on October 20th that I was going to order the Bronco I wanted. So I didn't care if it took a year to get. I just got my truck and was hoping to be happy with the truck. Unfortunately, I haven't been as happy as I expected, but I was going to order the Bronco and wait for what I wanted, because here's the thing. You can get a big bend or a base model, but you can't get the front and rear lockers. You can't get the sway bar disconnect. You can't get the rinse out floor. You can't get a lot of the stuff that really was important for me, especially living in the Pacific Northwest. I've got tons of great off-roading around here, and I wanted to be able to use it in the wintertime in the snow, be able to go wheeling and that kind of stuff, do some road trips this summer down to California and Utah and Colorado. So I was willing to wait. On the good note, so that you guys know I'm not just here complaining the whole time, I ordered the 4-door. I'm going to go down the list here, and I don't have it written down in front of me, so I'm just going to wing it. But I ordered the 4-door Badlands with the Lux package and the tow package and the hardtop prep kit and the Sasquatch package on October 20th of 2021. So just a couple weeks ago. On the 23rd, I received the order confirmation email from Ford, and on the 25th, I received my build date and my VIN number. And my Bronco's set to be built on January 3rd. So for those of you that have held off or are kind of on the fence and you're freaking out and you don't know what to do, what I've been told by some inside sources and also by a couple of dealerships is that everybody's been taking the advice of some of the other YouTube channels out there, which is fantastic, to get a base model or a big bend or something along those lines. And it's freed up some of the inventory and supply chain stuff for the Wild Tracks and Badlands versions and that kind of stuff. So basically my 4-door Bronco has everything you could possibly want on it that would make it be a 2023 or 2024 delivery, and I have a build date of January 3rd already. So I don't know if I got lucky. I did call the dealership and I'm like, is this right? And they're like, yeah, your truck is your Bronco is one of the first ones to be built in 2022, and it's the first one in our dealership that we've seen come through for 2022. So I have to tell you, I am beyond excited. And I'm actually contemplating if the Bronco shows up and is what I think it's going to be, I might just sell my truck and drive the Bronco for a year or so while we kind of develop the channel and whatnot. So I'm a contractor and I'm also a licensed insurance agent, so I know a lot about insurance and all that kind of information. So having two vehicles does save me a little bit of money on the truck essentially. So when I add the Bronco, the rate for both of them will be a little bit less, so that's kind of handy. But it doesn't obviously offset payments and that kind of stuff. So anyway, you guys, thanks so much for taking a minute to check out my update and also the announcement for the Bronco. Also the color, carbonized gray, was the color I went with. So super excited to get it. I'll post some pictures from the delivery on some links below. But thanks again for taking a look at my page. Remember to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Share it with your friends. I'm going to start building this channel pretty frequently over the next couple months. I've got a few things in mind. I'm going to take my truck up in the woods and do some four-wheeling with it if it ever gets the issues resolved that we're having. So keep your fingers crossed for that. Again, comments, I've been responding to as many of the comments as possible, but I do appreciate them. So remember, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, help me out, and when we get there, I'll let you know, but we're not there yet. So again, this is Brad from Are We There Yet? And I appreciate your time. Have a great day.